Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit more about Lady Macbeth, but mostly about women of the time period in which Macbeth is set. Now, I may sound a little bit biased because I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but I am, in fact, a woman. Shocking, I understand. But let's see if we can't get over that enormous hurdle in our friendship and talk about the women in Macbeth's time. In Macbeth's time period, and especially in the sort of Scottish Celtic culture, woman was a very powerful symbol. Not only was she strong and agile, but she was able to bear children, which was considered very magical and very powerful. Nowadays we kind of think, oh, there's a pregnant woman, be gentle, be careful, but back then that was definitely a sign of a woman's power and strength. She can make babies. Holy cow. Neat. A lot of Celtic deities were female. Surprisingly, a lot of them had to do with war, but also forests and water. Water is especially thought of as feminine, and if you think about it, it kind of has some of the traits that we often still associate with womanhood. It can be very fierce, or it can be very gentle. It can erode through a mountain, or it can nourish the trees. It can be very soothing, or it can pull you under and you drown. Mwahaha. Fear me, for I am woman. To tie in with the water thing, womanhood is also associated with the moon, which we know has a little bit to do with the tides, and they definitely thought that there was a correlation between the moon and the tides and water in general back then. And the moon has a lot of feminine qualities. It's very soft, and it's very faint light, not harsh like the sun, which is usually considered to be male. And it also does what a woman does. It grows and then it becomes smaller. So a woman becomes pregnant, she grows, and then she has a baby and she becomes smaller. And then she disappears altogether because she's a ninja. So let's talk a little bit more about Lady Macbeth. A lot of people tend to think that she is crazy, power-hungry, and dangerous. All of these things may be true, but she wasn't actually that unusual for a woman of the time. The fact that she wanted her husband to be king was a pretty good thing, one would think, and she might be recognizing in him some of his failings. I mean, he married her for a reason. What better reason than a woman who compliments you, who helps you stay strong in situations where you're weak? So she definitely wants to help him become king. And she can do that by helping him be strong, because like I said, in this culture, to become king, usually you achieve that by killing the last king. So if Macbeth is kind of too afraid to do that, she might have to give him a little shove. Go on, honey. Go kill the king. There's a good husband, you know, that kind of thing. Maybe not quite that much. So as we read the play, we're going to be keeping an eye on Lady Macbeth. And think about, I'm going to try and keep her as straight and normal as possible. I'm going to try not to have any preconceived notions about her possible crazitude. So if as you're watching and you're thinking about it, think about all the notions that you've had from classes that you've taken, or maybe even when you saw the play, and feel free to leave comments about what you think of her, because she's a really interesting character. Is she just insane and bloodthirsty? Or is she a normal woman of the time just trying to do her wifely duty? Or is it a mix of both? Of course, she is Scottish, so she's probably a little bit insane and bloodthirsty just by nature. Can't help that. That's normal if you're Scottish. Thanks again for watching, everyone. Hope to see you next time when we look at still more scenes from Macbeth.